Hi everybody, it's Ava. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about just like real estate and everything like entrepreneurial. I can never say that word, so we're just gonna stop trying. Today I'm actually gonna be focusing on how to find the right and perfect property manager for your property. This is actually like a very important process. As you know, a good property manager can make your business excel, and a bad property manager can literally make your business crumble to the ground. So it's very important that you take your time to find the right property manager. That's what I did for my long-term rental. I went through multiple people and try to see what one fit the best. I'm going to share some things you can do like upfront before hiring a property manager, so you have the best chance for success. With all that being said, let's get on into the video. I've compiled 20 questions you should be asking your property manager. You don't have to ask them all 20 questions, but before, you're going to be needing some property managers to call, so you can simply just Google search property managers in your area, look at the reviews, see which ones are the best, and then add those to your list of who you want to call. Or you can go on Facebook groups or network with local investors at like a local REIA or just people you know, and then ask them for recommendations on which property manager they use. Personally, I find that one the most best and effective method other than like reviews, because a lot of the times like you're going to see tenants comment on the review section, not really actually the owners of the property. So once you get your property manager, then you're going to want to start asking these 20 questions. Again, you don't have to ask all of them, but I recommend picking out quite a few of these and asking your property manager them. So first, I would recommend asking, what are your fees? A lot of property managers may have like a super low percentage rate and you're like, wow, great, this is awesome, they're pretty cheap. But a lot of the times when they have a lower percentage rate, they're gonna have a lot more fees. So fees meaning like, let's say screening for a new tenant, they may have a fee for that. Like my property manager personally has a $750 fee for every new tenant who comes in. So just find out those fees and compare to other property management companies in the area. Like, would you rather take a higher percentage or would you rather take more fees? It's really up to you. Number two, do you have any current references? So what I mean by that is other people who use that property manager, who are like the owners of the property, do they have references they can give you? So you can go and talk to the people and ask them questions like, do you like this property manager, blah, 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 blah. If they say no, that's like really just not a good sign, because obviously they should be having customers that they manage their properties for. Question number three, you can ask, how many properties are you managing, short-term or long-term? A big company and have a lot of properties, that makes sense. But if they're a really small company and they have a lot, they may be, like overdoing themselves. So be wary of that. Question number four kind of ties along to question number three, which is how many people work for your company, and you can use that to help you with question number three. Question number five is, how long have you been in the business? So you want these people to be in the business for a good amount of time. Personally, I think everyone should ask question number six, which is, do you have electronic or automated systems set up? When you are selecting a property management company, you do not want to select someone who's like really old school and uses paper for everything. You want someone who is constantly innovating with like the new technology that's coming out, just because it saves money and it saves time. I feel like all successful businesses are always innovating and finding new ways to automate their business. And I think that's a really important trait for property management companies as well. Sorry, I'm reading like the questions off my computer because I cannot memorize all of these. Tip number 7 is, how often do you check in on tenants and properties, like an actual walkthrough? I think this is super important for property managers to do so. I say once every 6 months or once every year is reasonable. Number 8, you can ask who keeps the damage deposits. And the key thing here is, you do not want the tenant to be keeping damage deposits. You want to make sure that the property managers are keeping the damage deposits. Number 9, you can ask, what financial institution do you use, or like what like bank do you use to do all your like finances? This is more if you're like a bank junkie and you're like super concerned with like certain rates and stuff. I don't know. I personally don't usually ask this question, but you may if you wish, if this is like your kind of thing. Question number 10 is, what do you charge for evictions? Evictions are already pricey as it is. So you want to see how much they're going to add on to that eviction fee. So when you advertise a property, do you wait for it to be vacant, or do you wait, or you do it like right before the tenant gets out? Personally, you want the least turnover time as possible. You're going to want to rent out like your long-term rental right away. You do not want to have like a large turnover period just because you're losing money. And then you can also ask, like, how long does it take to turn over a property between tenants? Again, you want the shortest amount of time as possible, like a couple weeks. Number 13, you can ask, what is your screening process? You just want to make sure they're doing thorough background checks, because You do not want to get shitty tenants in there because that ultimately, again, will ruin your rental. Next question is, do you take pictures of the property before move in and move out? I think this definitely has to be a guess because let's say a tenant does something to the property during their stay. You have to like show evidence to use part of their security deposit. So this is a good way to do that if they like deny they didn't make that damage. How do you handle tenant calls for repairs? The main thing here is like you want to see if they actually try to solve the problem before they find some help for it, because when they find help, they obviously are going to stick a fee onto that. So do you require a threshold dollar amount on repairs above which you always call the owner? Let's say you have a reserves account with money in it and the repair is going to be over like $100. Like, do you actually call the owner and make sure it's okay before you take the money? That's what it's basically asking. Another question would be, who do you use for repairs? And when they tell you, you can like do some background research on this guy, make sure he's actually a really good contractor or handyman, so on and so forth. Lastly, what is your philosophy on repairs and replacement? Do you try to find the least expensive solution or the more expensive solution so it will last? Again, you're probably going to want the more expensive solution just because you want the repair to last long. All right, guys, that's all I have to say on selecting your property manager. Again, vet quite a few of them. Make sure when you are actually hiring one, you really like them, because it's an intense and deep process. That's something you really want to make sure you're putting your all in. And I don't know. I really hope this video helped you out. If it did, please like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you in the next video.